Good morning. Today's video is 10 ideas on how to make your own fertiliser to save you having to buy fertiliser from the shop. So you don't need to go out and buy any. You can simply find ingredients to make your own in your kitchen, your bathroom, which sounds weird, but I'll explain that one, in your garden, woods near where you live, or a beach near where you live if you have one. Okay, so idea number one is urine, which I know it sounds disgusting to a lot of people, but believe it or not, if you are healthy, free from viruses and infections, then your urine is actually considered sterile. It's high in nitrogen, and urea contains more phosphorus and potassium than most of the shop-bought fertilisers. So you would just save your urine and use 1 cup of urine to 8 cups of water, and you just pour this into the base of the plants, and it really helps them to grow healthy and strong. If you don't want to pour it onto your plants, if it makes you feel weird eating tomatoes or berries that have urine in them, they don't really because the plant filters it, but that does make people feel a bit weird sometimes. You can simply pour it into your compost pile and it will help break down the compost quicker as well. Idea number 2 is molasses. So it's thought that the molasses increase microbes by increasing the friendly bacteria that the microbes feed on. So this helps plants grow bigger and stronger. You mix 1 to 3 tablespoons of molasses into about 5 litres of water, 1 gallon of water, and you use that to water your plants. Number 3 on the list was banana peels. So you simply throw 1 or 2 banana peels into the hole that you've dug before you plant a plant, or you can bury them under mulch so that they can compost naturally, and these really help plants grow. We also use banana peels when we are chitting potatoes, so we cut off the part of the potato that has the eyes on it, put it in a box, put some banana peels in, cover it up with some straw, and we leave them there so that they can sprout before we plant them, and this has worked really well so far. Idea number 4 is coffee grounds. So you can use your own if you have some at home, or you can collect these for free from your local coffee shop. Plants such as tomatoes and berry plants love them. They also add nitrogen to the soil, so you can either mix them into the soil before you plant, or while your plants are in, you can mix them through the soil, or you can just simply sprinkle them on top of the soil and then water the soil to soak it through. Or you can put the coffee grounds into water and soak it in there. So you would use 6 cups of coffee grounds to about 23 litres or 5 gallons of water, and you would soak that for 2 to 3 days and then use that to water around the base of the plants. Number 5 on the list is weeds. So these obviously grow everywhere. If you have a park near you or woods near you, or even in your own garden, you will find these growing naturally. So the ones that we would use would be nettles, comfrey, yellow dock, burdock, horsetail and chickweed, which all make an excellent homemade brew for your plants. So the first way to do it would be to get a bucket or a big plastic bottle and put the leaves and the roots in and cover them with water. If you're using a bucket, then you can weigh them down with a brick. So you let them soak for 3 to 5 weeks, and once a week you would go out and either give them a stir, or if you're using a big bottle with a lid, you can give them a good shake. And you would use this diluted as 1 part of weed brew to 10 parts of water, and then just water it around the base of your plants. Another way to use weeds is if they haven't gone to flower, you can dry them in the sun, chop them up and use them as a mulch. Or the last way that you can use them is to simply chop them up and add them to your compost heap. So comfrey and borage work especially well for this because they add a lot of extra heat to the compost and make it break down a lot quicker. Idea number 6 is eggshells. So you wash these, crush them up and work them into the soil. Tomato plants and pepper plants especially benefit from eggshells. Eggshells are 93% calcium carbonate, which not only works as a soil amendment, but it also prevents blossom end rot in these plants. I've heard that if you sprinkle eggshells on top of soil, it also keeps slugs away because they don't like the texture. It hasn't worked for me, but it might work for you. You can always try it and see. Idea number 7 is seaweed. So if you live near a beach or you're able to visit a beach and you collect some seaweed, then certainly by all means you can use that, and it's free. You can use both fresh and dry versions of seaweed, and they both work the same, and they're brilliant at amending the soil. Fresh seaweed does not need to be washed before you use it to remove the salt. Seaweed contains trace elements and it feeds the soil microbes. So what you would do is collect a small bucket of seaweed and chop it up small and add that to 5 gallons of water and let it sit for about 2 to 3 weeks, just loosely covered. And then you would give 2 cups to small plants, 4 cups to medium plants and 6 cups to larger plants. Number 8 on the list is grass cuttings, which are rich in nitrogen. So you would just add your grass cuttings to a bucket or a large plastic bottle again, add some water and fill it right up to the top and let it sit for a day or two, and then use it when you're watering your plants. So 1 cup of grass tea to 10 cups of water, and you just apply it to the base of your plants again. Number 9 on the list is manure. So if you have your own chickens, quail, horses, or maybe you're lucky enough to have your own cows, then you can use the manure from these animals to enhance your soil. Maybe you live near a farm or you know someone who keeps backyard chickens. You could also ask them if you can collect some. You would just use a cloth bag, bring it home, add it to your soil, mix it in really well before you start planting, and it works really well to help the plants grow bigger and stronger. It just feeds the soil. I just want to add there, if you're planting very young plants, be careful with how much manure you add to the soil, because sometimes it can burn the plants because it can be too strong. So if it's very young plants, don't add a lot of manure, just a tiny bit and mix it through. If it's older plants or big trees, then obviously you can use a bit more and they'll be fine. Number 10 on the list is worm castings or vermicompost, which aerate and improve the soil structure, and they also provide nutrients to the plants. You can use these with all plants, they won't burn any of the plants, and you can either sprinkle them on top of the soil or you can work them into the soil. Now there's several ways to collect your own, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link in the comments which explains how to do it. Before I end the video, I just wanted to add that if you're going to use weeds or urine as fertilisers, make sure that the plant that you're using them on is suitable for it. I say this because I'm sure that potatoes and onions and carrots, things that grow under the ground, don't specifically work very well with urine or the weed water. Whereas plants that grow above the ground like tomatoes, peppers, berries, apple trees, pear trees, etc., they are fine to use it on. So do your own research on that. But I wouldn't use urine or the weed water on things like potatoes. I'll post a link in the comments about urine so you can do a bit of research yourself. There's also certain types of medications and things that if you're taking these, you probably shouldn't use it on your plants, so that's just a heads up. I hope you've enjoyed the video and it's gave you some ideas for homemade fertilisers and save you some money, and I hope you have a lovely day. Thanks for watching.